Welcome back to the David Kurten Show here on today's News Talk TNT. And it's fantastic to have back on the show Eloise Schultz. Welcome to the show, Eloise.
Thank you for having me.
Now, it's great to see you. Now, you are the Heritage Party young adult spokesman. We know that. But recently, you've also become a councillor, which is very, very exciting. Can you tell us how you became a councillor and what it's like?
Yes, I joined my local parish council by co-option. There's recently been a split between the Springfield Parish Council and the Chelmer Village Parish Council, meaning there were a couple of vacant seats.
Mm.
And so I joined in a meeting. I applied to join and they invited me to the full council meeting. I signed some forms, answered some questions, and they voted me in. Um, so it was a nice, simple, positive experience. And I've been now to a full council meeting and a committee meeting, and learned a lot both times. And I've had a really good time just gaining that experience and learning what it's like to actually, do that work in my community.
Fantastic. You've got more power than I have now because you are on a council. It's wonderful. I've been trying to get into back into elected politics for since I didn't get on the London Assembly again in 2021. Anyway, congratulations to you. Now, you've been to, as you say, you've been to a meeting already and you've joined a couple of committees.
Yes.
What was the meeting like? Was it very friendly, or were there things that you disagreed about? And what was the main sort of business of the meeting like?
Um, it was structured. I wouldn't say it was like very informal, but everyone was very friendly. Um,
Mm.
and I definitely felt included. Like if there were things that I wasn't aware of because it's been an ongoing issue in the council, they were very happy to catch me up on everything.
Mm.
Um, one of the person who joined the council at the same time as me, because there were two seats, um, was someone who I ran against in the city council elections.
Mm.
I actually had a really good conversation with him, even though he ran for the Conservative Party. So obviously there are some things we disagree on. But yeah, I had a really good conversation with him, regardless. And it's good to know that like everyone on the council, some people are there simply to serve the community, and some people are also there because of an interest in politics at a
Mm.
national level as well.
Well, that sounds like a very nice council. It sounds like your local parish council there is doing what it should do. So people are concerned about issues to do with the local community, perhaps the libraries and public toilets and parks and street lighting and things like that, and generally making the neighborhood better, which is great. And you always get, like you see, some people who are getting involved in the lowest level because they have an ambition to go further up and higher up and become an MP or something at some day. But some of the, we have 10 councillors now in the Heritage Party. Obviously, you're one of them, which is great. But in some places, it appears to be far more antagonistic than your council. So you have change agents deliberately there to push the climate agenda, the net zero agenda, the woke agenda, and all these kind of things. But it doesn't appear that you have that in your council, which is a really good thing. Is that sort of a correct characterization? You think?
That's definitely been my experience so
Hmm.
far. I am interested to see what comes up because one of the issues that we're working on at the moment is the maintenance of the community.
Hmm.
So we need to hire a new deputy handyman. And I was interested because they were talking about having posted a job advert for handyman. And I asked, is that how it's phrased on the advert? And they said, oh, that's a really good point. Oh, well, the title was handyman, but officially it should be handy person. And throughout the advert, we changed it all to say handy person. And I was thinking, okay, I mean, it should, say on the advert that there's no discrimination between whether they hire a man or a woman. But the title can be handyman. I mean, for example, within the party, I'm the young adult spokesman. And I didn't say, oh no, you've got to make me a spokesperson or a spokeswoman. Like I can do that job and I'm a woman.
Yeah.
And also, after I brought this up, they started referring to the current handyman, who is a man, as the handy person.
No.
This is
Oh
not what
my
I was
goodness.
going for when I raised this question.
Oh my goodness. I think you might have been better off not asking the question, because I guess you answered it in the for the with the best possible intentions to, to make sure that this wasn't going to happen, and then they started doing something which is
Yeah,
ridiculously woke. Oh dear, oh dear. I mean, honestly, I mean, really, to start calling a handyman a handy person, this is just absolute nonsense, isn't it? I mean, but I guess, I wonder why they started doing this. Is this because they were afraid, or is this because they thought they had to um, comply with what they think they need to comply with?
I think so. I mean, I brought it up as a simple legal matter. Like, obviously, legally, you cannot discriminate when hiring
Mm,
for a job. Um, but I think after that, as soon as it was in their minds, so when we weren't really thinking about it, everyone was saying handyman, no problem. But as soon as they started to think about it, I think there's a little bit of paranoia. They just want it wasn't coming from a place of aggressive wokeness, if that makes
mm,
sense. They were just doing their best to be what they're told is a good person.
mm,
Um, because everyone on the council, as I said, is really friendly, really lovely. And I think it's a
mm,
real shame that good people are told they can't be good people unless they're using this word or that word.
mm. Yeah, I mean that's a very good point, because I not everybody at this level wants to do this kind of thing, but there's so much pressure on them to actually be woke, if you like, that they just comply with it even when there's absolutely no need to do it. I mean, are they going to start calling manholes person holes, for example? So that would be just again
Yeah,
completely ridiculous. Well, let's hope that they change it back and just advertise for a handyman, and then everyone will have the common sense to realize, like, anyone can apply to this. It's probably more likely that men are going to apply, but women can apply as well, and it's not even in anyone's thoughts. We shall see. Look, stay with us, Eloise. We're just going to have a quick news break, and we'll come back and talk about what's going on in the news today. This is today's News Talk, TNT. Welcome back to the David Kurten Show. Eloise Schultz, the Heritage Party young adult spokesman, is still with me. Welcome back to the show, Eloise. Now,
hiya.
we were just talking about your local council. You're a councillor now, which is fantastic. But it sounds like you're on a really, really good parish council that actually wants the best for the people in the local community. But you're also going to be standing to be an MP as well, I think, in the election that comes up. And so obviously you are taking an interest in what happens at a national level, as well as a local level. But there's a lot of this wokery that we were talking about around at the moment. And one thing I was just talking about is in the beginning of the show was an ITV commissioner. It's been alleged that she said, we don't want any more white men in the programming. What do you make of this kind of wokery that's going on at a national level as well?
At the end of the day, a statement like that is discrimination, whoever it's made against.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's completely irrational to say we don't want this race of person or we don't want this gender of person on our programming. I just think that's completely unacceptable.
Hmm.
You know, if
Yeah,
it were any other category, it would be unacceptable.
yeah, I mean, no one would be saying we don't want any more black people, or we don't want any more women, or we don't want any more trans people on the program. This would always be inconceivable for someone to say if they were the boss of a television station or a business or something like that. But it seems that anti-white racism or anti-male activism or anti our indigenous culture, it seems to be fair game, and I think it's appalling. I think you should just employ the best person for the job and not worry about their characteristics.
Definitely. I completely agree.
Yeah, and what do you also make of this in this New England football flag that they've revealed in a with big fanfare for the England football team to wear in the Euro 2024. It's a St George's cross, but it's been reshaped. Do you like it, or do you think it's something that you wouldn't like to wear yourself?
What I said about it on my personal X account was I'm looking forward to seeing their playful update to the Ukraine flag.